Hello, my name is Robert Houghton. You can call me Robert. That would be best. I teach computer science, 6th to 8th grade at Fulton County. My strengths, as I would characterize them, is patient. I've always been a huge advocate for giving people the time and, the breath to do what they gotta do. That's mainly because I'm so easily overwhelmed. I have extreme empathy towards people who are struggling, and as teachers, it's just essential. But I'm also collaborative. I love to communicate with my peers and kind of figure out what's going on out there because y'all got great ideas and I'd love to implement them. I'm a listener. Like every time I try to make it a very big point of hearing my students, seeing what they have to say and responding to whatever they're telling needs to happen within reason. Authentic. I like to make sure that everything that I'm doing is real and valuable, whether that's this educational process or what's going on in my classroom. I don't like to waste people's time. I am not a fan of busy work. I need to see the applicable or like any of the applications possible. And since that's one thing that I hold for myself, I hold other people to it as well. Like with my students, I try to make sure that everything I give them is as authentic and like original as possible. Empathetic as well, because again, it's all about listening to the kids and understanding. And I mean, that is what it sounds like this PL is. This PL, and I mean, I guess we'll just take this opportunity to branch to the next segment. But this PL is a lot more intricate. It's elaborate and it's way more intentional than what I currently implement in my classroom. Putting together a plan of action and like this learning and then generating an advocacy between the two and making sure that the kids feel accountable and they're doing self-assessments and reflections. Setting up a system like that feels intense, especially from the perspective of like a real world educator. I'm like, how am I going to find the time unless I dedicate like a whole month right at the beginning? How am I going to establish this? Like maybe I could create a profile, like a learning profile, like they said. I think I could take the time and get that done. I think that is reasonable and fair. But like PL as a whole, in regards to a lot from like semester 1, for those of us who are in 7, 8, 4, 5, it seems like a lot of these concepts are like systemic oriented. Like as long as we're operating under standard-based learning, it's going to be extremely difficult to bridge the gap between personalized learning and standard-based learning, because what are the odds that a kid is going to be like affirmative to the decisions that are necessary for covering our standards? I don't necessarily think that they would. With the reality of the situation is, if you gave the kids the opportunity to say, "Hey, what do you want to do?" they're going to say nothing. And it's our job as teachers, obviously, to increase their buy-in and whatnot. And that's what PL is aiming to do. And I appreciate that. But it seems like you would have to have devised a learning culture that expands beyond a 1-year, 1-class like term. Like this would have to be a school-wide initiative in order to like back the legitimacy. Like they could come into your class and they could really enjoy the learning plan, and you can try to boost it as much as you can, like student autonomy and self-direction, which I try as much as possible to do, because like as a connections teacher, I have like 200 kids and I need as many of them to be as self-directed as possible. I need them to be independent. So I make my lessons as genuine and authentic to them. Like I have some kids who are making podcasts at the same time people are making Minecraft realms in order to cover topics. But unfortunately, those topics are still predetermined by me. They are not determined by the student, just because we do have those standards that need to be directly addressed. So again, like this is a really good idea and I like implementing portions of it. I think it's excellent, but it also seems to me that unless the whole system can like upend and you can get like your entire school on board, this is something that like from start to finish, if you wanted to get like a 10 out of 10 personalized learning implementation, you are going to need everybody on board with it. You're going to need the kids, the parents, the culture, the communities, your school, your admin, your district, everything. And honestly, being in education, I know how rare a collaboration is like that's that way. I mean, like, it happens. It definitely happens. Like, we initialized like Walk for Water events, so why not like student advocacy? But it just feels bigger than me. I don't necessarily view myself as being capable of effectuating that change on the grand scale necessary to implement it at a 10 out of 10 level. I am all aboard on implementing it at like a 5 out of 10, a 7, as much as I can, like in my personal classroom. But as soon as like I have to rely on other people, my plans start falling apart because I don't know. I'm just not, I say collaborative is a strength, and it is. I love working with people, but at the same time, I'm so busy as an educator. It's so hard to find the time to like, especially like as a new teacher, because this is my 6th year that will starting in the next, after the summer. As a new teacher, that's going to be something that like, I feel like my voice is always superseded, by whatever like the status quo is. Everybody's like, oh, well, you know, you don't really know what you're talking about. Oh, that sounds like more work, because they're so close to retirement or whatnot. I don't know. But there is definitely an energy there that is pushback against change, and change is what I offer as being a person in a master's program and relatively new to the profession, in a department that has one person, me. I don't work with anybody. So it's easier for me to effectuate change independently and not wait for the entire school to come along. But this global collaboration thing, global collaboration was last. But the collaboration, like, within the network of the school is very difficult. So those are my thoughts. But personalized learning, lovely. I've been doing a lot. It seems like in line with these decisions. Like, I try to boost student autonomy. I listen to what they're saying. I try to make determinations based on that and give students more time, move more kids on quicker, like acceleration and augmentations, or not augmentations, but accommodations. Because in my classroom, I usually have a lot of gifted kids and a lot of ELs and a lot of like SPED designated. Like, I have to create individualized learning plans in like a micro scale. But as in all things, like, this is really just stuff that I've done adapting to the status quo. I don't know about the learning theories. I'm not actually like really that educated in regards to those learning practices, because when I did my 9 through 12 here at English Education, it was pretty heavy into like the actual content, as opposed to like learning theory. I know that some of the early years, they get a little bit more like psychological information and like childhood development, which I did get a little bit of, but no, I'm not like a matter of fact status quo kind of person. Like, I don't have the theory and the knowledge behind it. But these are logical decisions that I've made in the past. So PL is a big part of my classroom. It's just not implemented to the like effective scale of this. Like, this is very meticulous. It's very quantitative. And mine is very like situational. But I am interested in what I could do to try to like legitimize the process for me and my students and give them that much more back. Like, creating a learning plan sounds awesome. It sounds like something that I might want like a counselor and like admin assistants, and it's something that, like, since it's cumulative, should be built over time. But I would be happy to do a smaller portion, like on Microsoft Forms, and try to figure something out at the beginning of the year, based on learning plans, and see how they could be implemented moving forward. But anyway, that's about it. I'm sorry that it's a long video. I'm a rambler, and I'm not very good at speaking quickly. But I appreciate you listening if you're still here. Thank you.